Hello and welcome to another gameplay review on the Virkayu gameplay channel. And in this one we have OLAF. Like Talia has just had that mini scope rework. Talia's win rate wasn't looking so juicy, and I made the video saying, listen, she is an S+ jungler with these changes despite the data not saying so. Obviously everyone was kind of a bit outraged about that, and now you're seeing pros and high elo players say the same thing, because win rate data doesn't always represent the true reality of the situation, especially when a champion is difficult and takes a bit of time to get used to. It really modernized her kit. Now OLAF, on the other hand, hasn't seen any sort of data change that makes him any more relevant than he already was, or wasn't in this case, but I do think he also has been modernized. Most importantly, you know, the life stealing is now shifted a little bit to his passive. You've got the W shielding. You know, your R can, be can be infinite. Every time you use your E, or of course hit an auto attack, it gets extended by 2.5 seconds. And then your Q, you get the refund immediately when you pick up the axe, but you can only use an axe every 3 seconds. I will again highlight those as they happen, but that's the overview of those changes. However, he has still not really taken hold in any sort of area. No elo. Even high elo, you're seeing it a bit more to test it out, but no elo really has him dominating or showing any sort of discernible change in his pick rate and his ability to, shit on enemy junglers, which is typically what we've always wanted to do. Now, however, he is still juicy, he is still berserkers, it's not really a word, but I thought it'd be a fun title, and he can still take over games. It's just a little less poetic, a bit more brute force, a bit less stylish, if you will, but honestly, it's solid, great foundation, and if you focus on what OLAF is good at, you'll have no issue absolutely dominating games. I trust me on that one, trust the guy on this one, and even though there weren't a lot of replays to choose from, that's why. I wanted to find you as you're watching the first clears. Obviously you would have seen the runes. That's why this took it took a few days to kind of find something that was a bit more representative of OLAF's style. There just wasn't a lot of good old-fashioned, 1v9, hey, look how cool this champion is. It's just OLAF is OLAF, and he does what OLAF does, and that hasn't changed in this rework. So, out of the gates, language is difficult for me. We do have here Ghost OLAF. Obviously, you want Ghost on OLAF, but most importantly, the Ghost now with those resets plus the ultimate resets is absolutely juicy spicy. We have first blood from the Pike, and of course the Elise 12 CS ganking top lane. Buff Grump. Man, who could have guessed that? I've never seen that before in my life. Elise is so bad. This dude, though, is really holding on to his smites because he can. Now, I've, of course, kept all the changes on the left because there's a lot of changes like Talia, a lot of micro things that kind of, you're not really going to notice in terms of an obvious sense as Jax actually does get killed. And look at the HP here. We're going to hit that Q. Look at that, right? That's a smite, one smite, full clear, 321-ish, 322-ish. That's solid, that's fine. And as I was saying, things like the axe, going from 300 to 425 units in terms of its range, that's noticeable. But again, not being able to spam it and trying to avoid that OLAF core kind of chase down spammage by making it so that you can only use it once every 3 seconds, that's huge. You'll see here, he goes, he'll pick it up, okay? There you go, there's a full refund, but because it's been 3 seconds, he can then go ahead and use his axe. Now, obviously, this is a great counter jungling opportunity because we know the Elise was here. However, we also know that she might look to potentially reset, so he's going to go back and spot. She's going for the wolves. Hello, hits the axe, gets cocooned, Elise things. We pick up the axe here, we throw that one off, and now we notice that bot lane is MIA. We see the Pike in the mid lane, so we're going to ghost to safety. I don't know if we really need to do that, or at least use our ghost at all in that particular situation, but you know what? That's fine. At least it's now on a tier 2 Grump. Good ward. Vayne is bottom lane here. Maybe we can do something. Well, it's warded, so we cannot. Renata Glass shows up. Again, you could look to apply pressure here. I do kind of like that because at least there's nothing else to do, and they will expect you to go back. The hook into the axe equals a dead Renata. I mean, that is just pitiful, no? That is absolutely pitiful. And now we know Elise is in the area, but this is showing you really, it's not gonna be giga sexy, but if you've got strong fundamentals, good counter jungling, you can full clear effectively, you understand how to use CC with your axe, and of course make sure you're hitting that true damage and using that new W shield appropriately, you have a lot of power. See, here we go, W shield just a little bit, and we can solo a dragon level 4 without backing, which is obviously what OLAF players like to do. And I think you can kind of anticipate Elise showing up there, but we're focused on the dragon. Actually, we saw that there on the minimap. That shield there is based upon missing HP, but it is capped based upon a percentage of your current HP, 30%. So at least you would have seen on the minimap there flashed in to get that kill. Obviously, kind of what we can see from the minimap. We don't really have to pay any more attention to that, but obviously in game, please use your F keys. Feel free to look at those things. And now we're going to head on to the top side, considering we did sequence top down, although all our camps are available. However, why are we pinging this? Because Elise did this, and now we'll 100% move into this side of the jungle to capitalize on the fact that the Olaf did the dragon, which is what happens. However, we can chase her down or potentially be here for a counter gank even if we lose the Gromp. Obviously, we did lose the Gromp, so good job by Elise. She goes top lane, Jax is in a minion wave. He will try and survive. Olaf is showing up, leap strike, repel, in spot, pick up the axe, throw another one. We do hit it, very, very good. All right, so that elevated range there, 425 units from 300, really nice, showing you how far you can actually hit that. We're going to take this to fulfill HP and mana requests. They're staying. Level 5 Elise, level 6 Riven, level 4 Yax. We do need to do something. We can anticipate this dive. She does get stunned, thank you very much. We hit the axe, true damage strikes from the E. We can swipe with Iron Spike Whip. We're going to hit another axe over here. Elise is going to look to pick something up. She's going to repel. Jax, you please stay out of range. He doesn't stay out of range because he wants to apparently just die. We hit another axe into an E, and there you go. So, power of Olaf. Does that look any different to any other Olaf version you've ever seen or in recent memory? Nope. Plays the same, feels the same, just has those benefits, those added quality of life changes, those things to try and modernize his kid. But honestly, I don't know if it's enough to make him like the Talia. The Talia sensation also, like the Q range here being extended, the Talia E was also extended, shifted from wide to long. And that made a big difference, you know, because of the nature of the ability. But Olaf doesn't really have that same sense. You're kind of just doing the same things. But he is in a bit of a better spot. That shield is nice. Although, I remember everyone kind of saying how broken it was going to be. Definitely not that broken. Not at all. Strong, for sure. Definitely strong. It's just not broken. You know, the stats don't always tell the whole truth, but at the same time, I don't think there's some kind of hidden Illuminati balance going behind the scenes in terms of Olaf's viability in the meta. And if you're a Warwick main, you still hate the champion, right? But pre-6 you can hang with Lethal Tempo, but if he starts hitting those axes with that true damage, you don't like it because obviously, you know, our resistances and our E's get annihilated. So that's why we don't like him. The ultimate's interesting because now that we have that up, we're level 7, good counter jungling again. Pike misses that, oh sorry, Pike misses that hook. Renata misses her hook. Everyone has a hook nowadays. See Elise on this ward. I like this ward. You do red into this, you just leave it, just so we can see when they show up. And now, of course, you can decide, do I want to do Herald, force a fight? I have no mid laner, so obviously we don't want to do that. But the ultimate, you do not lose your resistances now when you press it, right? You keep those permanently. You still do get all the disabling and the bonus AD and the removement of CC and all that good stuff. But obviously, it can be extended and you get the 20% movement speed towards enemy champions for 20 seconds. So it acts like an approach velocity anyway, but we do have that. Elise with a counter gank, haha. I was kind of thinking, where might Elise be? But as you can see, the damage is extreme. Elise is forced to flash out the leap strike, does it. We do maintain a bit of range here, obviously, but I mean, we could go back in. I think he kept his distance a little bit too much there, considering the nature of the champion and the fact that, you know, we have our W as well, but if you're a top lane that can handle business, let them handle business. I do think we should go ahead and yeet this. I do kind of like the idea of doing this. Why? Because I think if Elise is coming up here to do all of this, and he's low, and he's going to base here, there's no real reason for her to come to the top side. She's probably going to go look to do something bottom side, maybe counter jungle. Again, though, she might go straight for the Herald, and you have to basically say, can I still fight her if she shows up? And I do think you could have. Personally, I do think you could have. Akshan goes in on the Ziggs. Good job, sir. There you go. She did actually go to the top side, but now she's 3 levels down on the Akshan, and the Olaf is almost level 8 as well, so we do have a huge lead, and this is why Elise is trash, by the way. Oh no, I was ganking the whole game. Oh no, I have to do buff grump or at the very least 4 camps. No, shouldn't really. Now you're 2 levels down because you cannot farm for shit. And that's just the reality of the situation. RNG Crab showing up, great control ward there. Now we see her again. Ult available in 9 seconds. Okay, is she still here? Nope, she leaves. So we're gonna loot. This is a bit of loot power thing, except in a different way because we went back to base, right? So we could have stayed out and kind of done this, but if we have gold, like a full gold drinker, then that is important if you're going to take that fight. So it is something worth thinking about. I just want to make sure we do get that Herald and we try and bring some ping pong into the game. I think we still could have easily rinsed that Herald, so maybe a bit aggressive on my part, which is weird considering I'm a bit more conservative when it comes to those things, but hey, sometimes you gotta try stuff and you gotta see how long you can hang out on those extended sequences as Olaf, because we do, of course, have that lifesteal. Oh, at least you showed, and now Riven is low. We have the smite, we have the true damage, we have the W, of course it still does its swipies. We have activated our ultimate, and of course that did not last very long, but we didn't really need it, did we? So that's how strong you can be with Gore Drinker and that damage. You would have noticed that the duration on the ultimate really isn't as long. In fact, it's half as long. 6 seconds to 3 seconds. And yes, for those who wanted to know, the W still grants the attack speed, but it does reset your auto attack timer, so you can kind of do the auto W thing, where you just get an extra auto, start swiping with added attack speed, and that is nerfed a little bit, but of course we have cooldown benefit on that shield granted by the W, as well as the attack speed benefit. So really more subtle than the Talia, but not something that I'm feeling is much different. The elongated axe range is something I really do like, and I keep forgetting to mention it. Probably an oversight on my part not to say that it was a minimum range, but you know, does happen. So Lisa's not going to be forced into being more aggressive in terms of her ganking, just to try and stay in the game, because she's not going to catch up by farming. Kaisen, that's not the play. That's not the play at all. And Arvane's going to be steamrolling down the Pike, who will fall thusly. And Olaf is going to show up here. We do have Ghost available. We do have Ragnarok available. Can we do something? Nope. We do have a Dragon available, though. Dead Jungler was, well, not Dead Jungler, Low Jungler. She's not going to compete with that. However, if you can do nothing on the map, please, in general, as junglers, fall back to your camps. Don't go overly risky. Don't go like waiting in bushes. If you're going to wait for them to push, go clear a camp and then go for it. See, this is very, very good. Here we go. Ghost activation, axe hits. Boof, boof, boof. Well, that was easy. He just buffed her a couple times after the axe and the E, and then, you know, you press W and she dies. And you wait for the next axe to come up and you smack it down. That was easy. So the damage is berserkerlicious, and now we have Elise again in the mid lane. Akshan is going to camouflage next to walls for some particular reason. We do not have ult again. We are now going to be rooted here. This might be the moment we fall. I mean, this would be sad because we should just be doing the dragon. What are you doing, Olaf? Aha! I am fast. You are not. Q into an E, obviously. We have Q up again now. Can we hit it on the Riven? Obviously, Riven's a tough one. We do have the blue smite as well, and the approach velocity. The E plus the R is beautiful. And another reset from the Pike. We will take them juices into some counter jungling. So, you're seeing a good example of how nothing's changed. Nothing has changed, except in the background, that's changed. That's the Kaiser statue that finally came in. It does light up. There you go, see it? It's lighting up. Very, very nice. We do have the Herald, might as well use it. 2 plates, thank you very much. We should get true damage on this one. You know, better than using it here, so, you know what? Maybe he's just big brain and he's thinking about these things. Selfishly taking gold for himself. More counter jungling done. Obviously, at this point, you have to be aware that everyone's resetting. We do have the Gold Drinker. Availability, we do not have any magic resist at this stage. Well, Ziggs is dead anyway. Ziggs does by far the most damage for the enemy team. It's actually obscene, but then again, how does a melee champion, such as Olaf, deal with anti-siege, such as Ziggs? You know, you kill him like that, but we'll see how we go. Overall, the Berserkers Greaves versus that team comp. What do you think, ladies and gentlemen? I'm not sure I'm fully on board with it, because obviously I know its value and I understand it. But the Merc Treads is just super, super good for someone like Olaf. Can we hit that axe? We can. We don't have as much damage as we would like. We're going into Q into E as we do. And obviously, the lifesteal is on the passive, as I mentioned. So we can obviously increase our attack speed. But Riven does have, as we say, burst damage. Right? Plus ignite. Oh, that's unfortunate, Pikey. That's unfortunate. And now we've overstayed. So, as always in these videos, there's an element of, hey, can I do stuff? Man, does anyone actually like Riven? I mean, I know people like playing her, but does anyone like facing a Riven ever? Don't think so. Do not think so. Alright, let's speed this baby up because we have covered a lot of the Olaf. Now, obviously, if there's nothing to do on the map, outside in rule, you can go to Crab first into blue. If you plan on staying out after the Crab by potentially invading red and you just wanted the mana, then blue into Crab into their invade is good. But overall, we just want to make sure we snack that. Sequence on down. Elise is on the bottom side here. Renata is dead. We do have Riven available now. We are going to go to the Death Dance, more of a Mortius build, which as you know you should all be doing anyway. Things are going to change in the next patch though. We have to basically remake every single jungle guide with all the item changes that are going to come into effect in terms of how they synergize with the general the game state, as everyone kind of gets added HP and tankiness. Healing and shielding is reduced, so that's basically a full sequence. We can finish Death's Dance now. Go into the map, Ruby Crystal plus Control Ward. Beautifully done. So, as always in the mid-game, and again, if you are curious about this, go to my main channel video I just released this week. I talk a lot about mid-game farming, split pushing, applying pressure while your team goes and handles business. And obviously the Olaf's gonna get himself a few more kills, but it's not gonna be beautiful and sexy run it down montage clips, you know? It's chaining axes together, hitting your true damage, amplifying your attack speed with W, using the shield as well, and securing objectives and counter jungling. I mean, it's not gonna sell tickets, you know? It's the old basketball phrase, right? Offense sells tickets, defense wins championships. Olaf's the kind of thing that will win you a championship. He's the San Antonio Spurs of junglers. I know I've used that for Ivern, but I mean, Ivern's not really champion anymore. And definitely won't be next patch. That is not the right move. Now Olaf is of course gonna use that shield. We have Goldrinker healing as well. So that shield there came in really, really big. I do like that. The shield is something I'm actually really enjoying watching in this game. Just because of its value as you're missing HP, right? So you can really bait it out and use it properly for spells. I do like that. What's interesting, wait, are they changing that shield value? I haven't checked the 12.10 notes. Are they changing the Olaf shield value as well to go with all the changes in shield values? If you know, let me know in the comments, but I need to double check that, obviously. So we've basically just pushed the map up again. This is just standard stuff. Not being too aggressive, yeah. Scan, clear. Steal some cams, push some side waves. I'm gonna speed through it because obviously we know what we're doing. Alicia's top lane with 2. Jax's split push forces that rotation, which means what should you do? Push on the other wave. Use the Herald that we have, the second Herald, which we haven't even spoken about much, but this is why I like the second Herald. You can use it for some cool things. All right, here we go. Let's smack that baby down. Hit that axe onto Renata Glass. 5 seconds, 4 seconds on cooldown base without picking up the axe. Tower falls, hook into an E. I mean, what are you doing that? At least over the wall we see. We do get Cocoon, we have ult available. Akshan goes Bollywood, she repels into nothing. Will she die? She really does well. I mean, if anything, this is not only a showcase of the reworked OLAF, that shield, there we go. You can use it early too, but it's not going to give you as much value. I mean, if you want the attack speed, obviously that's great. It's up again at 3, 2, 1, here we go, so we can use it. Should be a much bigger shield this time around. There we go. The gold drinker swipe. Beautifully done. Whoa, that, okay. Uh-oh. Axe in. We have another W. The W is something I'm really enjoying. As I know I just said that, but that for me, like with the Tilly, there's one part of the rework when they modernize a kit that makes you feel like, okay, now I can actually do stuff that I might not have been able to do before. And I think the removal of that whole sort of passive attack speed thing in terms of being flat and now it's scaling just gives you a bit of survivability in that shield. And I like that unique, I don't know, skill. You know, it's a skill ability now. You gotta time it appropriately. Think about when you want to use it. Cooldowns, by the way, 9.6 seconds with this build. We've gone into Sterax. We do need the HP for survivability, obviously, but Vayne exists. Do we want to go more second as we do on most champions? I kind of feel like more into the Sterax would be a bit more logical, at least Hex Drinker into the Sterax, but at the same time, we're so far ahead, it doesn't really matter at this stage. They can't kill us, at least it's nothing. Ziggs is really poke damaging, and if he's by himself, we will rinse and destroy him. So, you know, this can probably give you another huge lifeline shield, huge value there as well. So it's not wrong, it's just think deeply about the game. If you've got maybe 3 or 4 magic damage dealers against you, then that's something you're going to want to do first. Okay, that's something you want to do first. And obviously Death's Dance gives a hybrid resist now in terms of its passive. All in by the red team, and Olaf is sequencing down. This is the risk when you sequence away from your team, as I tell you in the mid game. If you want to go towards mid lane to help your team grumble to wolves into mid, but purely because he is leaving the situation pathing down, they commit this all in. Riven takes this one and is now kiting back. They do have to be cautious. I'm not sure I'm with the Olaf on his detachment from his team here. There's a lot of risk in low elo for this, by the way. You gotta be very cautious. We're gonna rotate back for sure, but I can guarantee you in a silver game, they're all dead already. Another on Baron. Now you have to steal the Baron. Again, see the volleyball video on the main channel. We talk about this. Hit the plant to let them know that we know where they are. There is a soul swap, though. We can bait Baron for soul, although it's not really a good soul, so I kind of want the Baron 100%. That double counter-strike stun, absolutely beautiful. And now we can just do what OLAF does. We just run people down. And of course, remember, every auto attack and E extends your ultimate duration, okay? But it is 3 over 6 seconds, so it's not as long. That is worth noting. You know, it's not just like it's the same length. Ah, we hit that axe, picked it up. Both. Reckless swing. I feel like that's missing. You got Undertow, Ragnarok, Tough It Out. It's a shitty name too, actually. I mean, you could have done something Thor-based for Reckless Swing, right? I feel like these names don't represent Olaf's true might. That's my opinion. I do think we could have gone deeper into the Poetic Edda, any Noahs in chat, and perhaps come up with better names. Again, we're falling back to our camps, although, you know, Pyke is such a diseased champion. Exhaust using Akshan, obviously, Vayne uses Condemn, Pyke goes in, gets a kill, that's beautiful, so that's a 1-for-1. And Jax is TPing on the top side. Olaf is going back to base. We will begin to move into, this actually works as well. I lied to you. I was looking at a different game history. I looked at a lot of games. I lied to you. We're actually going Spectre's Cow, but now you're too deep in the video. So, yeah, but my bad though. You can definitely do that though. Spirit Visage is really justified against a more AP heavy comp if you don't want to go for the Morph Mortias. So, to each their own. I've seen a lot of Moors as well. Death Dance Moors, Olafs. That's, I guess, why it was in the back of my mind. But against like a hugely damaging Ziggs and the fact that at least can still one-shot you if you just stand still. Well, not now, but mid-game-ish when she's ahead. That was fast. But good Baron. Back to base now. Spirit Visage completed, which of course will amp your healing in general, which of course will amp your shielding in general. It doesn't have a lot of magic resist though, so in theory, if you're against a very high magic damage comp, you could Hex Joker and Spirit Visage. There's nothing to preclude you from doing that. Again, I don't like that we're just kind of piss-chilling farming. I mean, in the description of the match history in some of these sites, again, linked below, it even says slow to end, and you're slow to end because you're trying to farm up 6 items instead of just ending the game with your team and running them down. I mean, we don't really need to worry about any of this. However, he is joining the mid lane. Push this up, yes. Thank you very much. Riven goes in. Again, they see the Olaf there. They see the Akshan there. They're going to make this picks, and Silver, your team will die. So pay attention to that. Okay, now you can definitely flank. You get the benefit here of this being more of a... It's still not a high elo game, as you can see, but like high elo. It's still a high elo game, but it's not like a challenger game. We're 16, so we've got the 3rd rank on the ultimate there. Axe doesn't hit. Jax does not have TP. That axe does hit. So we kind of want to just bait them in here with Jax. Ah, there we go, he's dead. Ooh. Thank you, Pyke. There we go. All right, let's watch. E extends it a little bit. We lose it. We have the W shield. We also have the Sterix Gauge shield. We do have the life still here. We can hit another axe. There we go. Reckless Swing is available for us, as is another axe, as is our W, which we use stylishly. We go drink it to make sure we get some sustain back as well. Reckless Swing kills the spider, and now we're just running people down. I mean, what I see is a champion that fits significantly better into what we're trying to do in the game at the moment. It definitely has a bit more skill expression in terms of the ult extension, the W shield, and of course the auto cancel on the W shield. But other than that, Olaf is still Olaf. But if you execute properly, mid to late game, you're dominating people. Just keep your fundamentals about you. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed and learned something. Why are we in 0.5? That was the slowest ending of all time. Main channel has videos for you. Coaching is available on Patreon. And that's it. I'll see you all in the next tutorial.